You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Yep, it's the world's most dangerous morning show, The Breakfast Club. Charlamagne the God, Angela Yee, DJ Envy is out, but we got a legend in the building.
Yes.
What
One of
up?
the original kings of comedy, Mr. Cedric the Entertainer. What's happening,
What's
my
up?
brother?
Good morning, man.
How you tricked them white people into giving you a show on
You know
CBS?
what I mean? That was the move right there. You just come off so, cordial and kind of use big words. And, they go, you know what? He seems like a nice enough young man. Now, I'm getting that. I'll get that CBS money, right? It's been a long time since black people been over there, man.
I know, man. I was trying to think. I was like, when the last time? I remember Jermaine Fowler had Superior Donuts.
Yeah, Superior Donuts, and he was like on there by himself. But like I brought the whole, I brought in Sheena. I got the young guys, Marcel Spears and Sheon McKinney. We came in there thick.
Yeah.
And then I'm executive producing with my partner Eric Rohn. So we walked off up in there with him. So and the show is fun, man. It's about gentrification in a way, where white family moves into a black neighborhood, and so you kind of
just
see
the beginning.
that. You see that, right? You see it everywhere from Harlem to Brooklyn to, where that starts to be the change. And then, it's all about how you feel about that when somebody comes into your hood, and then how you have to grow. My character's old school and kind of stuck in the ways. Don't believe in this. Yeah, I love the word.
Yeah,
I don't even know what it is. I just say it quite often whenever I describe my character. I even looked it up, curmudgeon.
I looked that word up one time because they use it to describe somebody I don't really like.
And
so
now
I was
you
like,
use
let
it
me
all the
see what that
time.
means. I was like, oh, yes, that's that person
They
for
call
real.
him a curmudgeon. It's not a compliment. I love how this show came about, though, and how you became executive producer, because the show was presented to you, but you said, you know what? I can give these characters more dimension.
Yeah, because it was loosely based from the creator, Jim Reynolds. It was loosely based off his real life. He had moved into a predominantly black neighborhood, just white, the white co-creator and the creator of the show. And then, but all the characters at that time, all of the minority characters were like just stereotypes of
Right, because how
what
could
he
he
thought.
know what that really would feel like for us?
And it's like, it's the way that white people think, like, oh my God, I know how you're feeling. Like,
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
I have no idea.
And then, and so, but, he did have, the right spirit about it. Like, once I met with him, you knew that his attitude was, he thought that he was telling a really true story. And I said, well, you only telling it true from your side of it. You don't know his side. So once we got to work together, we were able to kind of create what the show is that we have now. And so it became something that I thought would be a great presentation and something good for CBS. It's an old school style sitcom, though. Like, it reminds you of like the flip version of All in the Family or something like the Jeffersons, like where you see that kind of these two worlds crashing together. And we can tell a modern story about it, though.
That's the beauty of being the OG with money. Because you go into these rooms, and it's like, I could take this or leave this. I would like it.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? So you can actually tell exactly what's on your mind, how you feel about the situation.
Which was great, though, because I was able to walk away like, I was able to say I wasn't going to do it like several times, which made them keep coming back. And then that kept getting the deal better, because that's when like if they really need you, you be like, well, all right, well, cool. What you really talking about then?
Yeah.
Did you learn about his side of gentrification from this?
Yeah, because, from his side, again, he just, you would say it's like white privilege. He just liked the house that he wanted to live in. And so,
it was affordable.
Yeah, and it was affordable, and that's what he was trying to do. He just didn't think about it much. And, and I guess, he also kind of had an idea. They go to city plannings and city commerce meetings, so he knew what was coming.
Right.
Like, the black people, we don't know what's coming in our neighborhood. We just be mad when the Whole Foods show up.
Yeah.
He knew it was coming like 9 months ago. He was like this, but it was like that. So, but that idea, so he knew that the neighborhood was going to be emerging soon, and so as well. So, but it was those kind of things that you realize, like, again, and again, he was a young dude, young married. So again, he was just only looking for something he could afford. He didn't really think about it much.
That'll be a good investment and worth more later. Isn't that crazy that white people move in and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, the real estate's going up in this market?
I know, and all it takes is 2 white people and your real estate go up. You know what I'm saying?
Multiply your shooter right up.
Yeah, but you know why? Because they'll call the city on stuff and get potholes fixed.
Right.
We'll just let it be a pothole out there. You'll be mad.
Every day you get a flat tire.
Yeah, you just tell people, man, they need to come fix these streets. They didn't go. They're on the phone all day. You're gonna get over here and fix this.
Oh, you give them directions. Be like, look, watch out for that pothole on 5th Street.
That's
man.
about it. Especially if they borrowing your car. That's the only time you tell them.
This show is interesting to me because I live in Bed-Stuy, and there's so much gentrification in Bed-Stuy, right? Yeah. But at the same time, it's like there's a lot of white people moving in that aren't from the area, and they don't understand, like, yes, there's local bars, there's these things to do, but you still shouldn't be walking around by yourself late at night because I think sometimes they think, hey, we're here and everything's great and there's more police and everything's safe. In general, like, nobody should be walking around at 3 o'clock in the morning drunk coming from the train station.
In general, I was looking at that. Me and my wife was talking about that. I live in a triple gated community, and it still be like people out walking late at night.
Like,
I'm like, it's not safe. I'm not even a criminal, and I want to do something right now.
I be thinking the same thing.
I'm like, just because you out here like jogging with some shorts on, little white girl, what is your problem?
See, that's why they be looking at you sideways now. They're like, I know you're going to do something.
I just think it, but I'm just get these checks first.
Everyone thinks that because I think that sometimes too. I'll be like, I could rob that person right now.
Well, see, that's that PTSD in us from being black people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's always a moment where you think you can get away with something.
That. Not that you would do it.
Yeah, it's just that moment. Yeah, that's right. It is true. You just think you wouldn't do it. But you be like, yo, I remember like I used to. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't.
I live in a so-called nice neighborhood, and it's like you be in your house at night and you see somebody walking, a white person, they be walking their dogs, and be like, oh, that's the police.
You be like, there's something going on like that.
Yeah, he's fine.
I'm like, who walks their dogs that late? My dogs won't even go outside that time of night. Black dogs be like, what are you doing? I'm not going out there.
But the other problem is that sometimes white people come to your neighborhood and try to act like you should adapt to them.
Well, that's really the big case is that people come in, they want to tell you how low you need to cut your grass and when to turn your music down.
Right.
You start having these rules around like, oh, at 10 o'clock, it's gonna be wise to turn your music down at 10. He like, what? We just getting started at 10. What are you talking about?
Party just started.
Like, what is going on? Yeah, they got all these little rules. Like they come in. We got a big home association group, so they. It's like the parties and where you can park. You're like, man, if y'all don't get away from here. Yeah, and I got a black wife, so she really ain't having it. She just look at everybody like the same way. What?
Round of applause to Cedric for having a black wife.
Yeah, I mentioned it. I just mentioned it.
You got to throw that out there.
Nowadays, you got to be like, yo, he is successful. Like, what happened? Like, where your white wife is, said? Well, I got my money. I got my wife first, and then I got my money.
You got the money first?
Yeah, if I got the money first, then I would have did it the right way.
Oh, my God.
You know what I mean? I would have did what you supposed to do when you first get your money.
You think we are in the midst of a new black renaissance in Hollywood?
It's definitely starting to feel like it. I mean, within the last couple of years, a lot of the shows that people love and we can't wait to see, but also on the writing side, and you saw with Issa and then Kenya's deal over at Kenya Barris's deal over at Netflix and Sandra Rhimes, and you started to see that, and of course Donald Glover, killing it, and now. And then CBS ain't had, like I said, other than Jermaine, we hadn't had African-American, personalities and faces on a major network like that. And that was almost 20 years. That was the second Cosby Show.
Damn.
That was on there before Jermaine was on there as this and in a sitcom. But now we got my show. We got Damon Jr. coming on right after me. And then the show Fam that's going to come on with Tom Bell and Shirley Ralph. So, it's going to be a lot of that going on. Lil Rel on Fox now, so
Is Lil Rel your son?
No, that's my guy right
Lil
there.
Rel like the second coming of
Everybody
Sam,
say that, man.
He is, man.
But he got that same kind of like, that good natured humor and that cool attitude. I love Rel, man. He was like one of my business. Yep, the glasses, I don't know, the full swag. He trying to get his swag, game up. I don't know.
Oh, he ain't on you. He ain't got that yet.
He ain't quite,
He's
he got to get 3 more summers to get money. He going to be fine. To get that summer money, he be all right there. Yeah, but that's good. And then, Black is still on, so all that stuff's still popping, man. I feel like it's starting to be a different energy in Hollywood for sure, and on the movie side too. Not everything has to be where we end up doing electric slide at the end of the movie. That's the thing about most.
We do the cha-cha slide.
Yeah, But the black movies always, no matter what, it always
Right.
got to end with.
It sure does. We dancing, partying.
But you know,
Man,
Get
that's
Out didn't do
messed up,
that. They didn't do that.
It's
in
true
Get
because I
Out.
just thought of 10 of them right now. When
That's
you
how
said
night
that.
school ends, man.
Ouch.
We
No,
just
it's
saw-
not.
we-
Is it
yes,
really?
is.
Do
We
it.
just
It's
saw
got-
night
it
school.
got
I
to
didn't
slide
see it.
again.
man. I
Oh,
just
my
thought about that.
God.
You messed me up, Sam. I'm like, God damn,
I
man.
just saw Kev last night. I went to the show last night, so I didn't even know that. I was like that. So maybe not the electric slide.
But it
man.
ends with it ends with black and white people dancing.
Oh,
But the
well,
white people were dancing like black people.
right.
Ah,
And then they learning.
Let's
you didn't
move
even think
on.
about it. It's the
No,
thing,
you hit me with
man.
that. I'm like, God, that's the last black movie I've
thing.
seen night school.
Now, what about unity with the comedians, right? Because obviously
man.
it's competitive, but then we see so much lately, especially of comics. You know, you've been supportive, but
Yeah.
going at each other.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I mean, that's. And it came down to it's like a wrestle royal now too. Like,
Yeah, what's
Royal
going
Rumble,
on?
yeah.
yeah, it was like
yeah.
serious. I was
Yeah.
like that last one. I mean, yeah. Cat called out. He was like, "Yo, we can race. We can." I was like, "Oh, that's a lot of stuff. We can box. We can rap. I'm gonna race you. We can make sandwiches." I was like, "Whoa." And I was like, but I think that it is a competitive business. I mean, in the sense that, but not like head to head. The thing about comedy, it's subjective anyway. Like people have their audiences. People have folks that they love, and they're gonna love them anyway. So you're not really competing with the next man, and and it's been proven too that it's a lot of money out here to be. To still get and your people gonna love you. So I don't really like that energy when it comes to comedy because it is a business about making people laugh and you gotta imagine that everybody kind of gets that shine the way it's supposed to come. This is one of them grown statements I always tell people, but you can't want another man's blessings because you don't know their burdens. So don't want what somebody else have. You can't desire that. So. And if they hot right now, that's what that is. And and you can't tell somebody like, well, you ain't earned yours or none of that because, any one moment in a room where the right person is there, that's when it clicks.
Right.
And that's supposed to happen for you, I always like Bernie Mac had the most famous 8 minutes of comedy that I could think of. When he did
I ain't scared of you
I ain't scared of you
motherfuckers.
motherfuckers wasn't even really what he was. He wasn't doing that for a whole run. He was just saying it for one time, and he ended up making it a bit, and he blew up. We was all even. And off 8 minutes of comedy, he was already here. What, you supposed to be mad at that? Like,
Right.
you want that too, but you can't be mad about it. Like, so when he blew, that was it. But it changed the game. Like, so anybody that was like around that same time, Bernie changed the money. Kev changed the money. Cat changed the money. So you actually like that. You like when people become arena stars and you
Raise
like
the bar
yeah, you
for
raise the
everybody
bar
else.
and they raise the money and they raise the expectation. So now it's Tiff turn and real, it's fine. It's all good. Especially if you're a female comic, you want people to get that shine like that because it'll let you know it's a slot open.
Right.
And that's the way you look at it. You don't be mad at nobody for that. That's it's comedy, man. Do your job.
How did you get your break? I never realized how Sad got his break.
I was mainly, I guess, I became the host of Comic View. Like it was,
Gotcha.
and especially at that time, like BET Comic View was like on. It was on every day. It was like the comedy show
Yeah.
back then. And then DL was the first host, and he was stepping down, and they did a competition, and I did Def Jam, and I was like kind of considered like a guy that shouldn't have been on BET. Like you supposed to be better than that. And I had all these new jokes, and I was like, I just need to be on television. So I went and did BET, and I became the new host, and then I was on every night. So I became a household name, like in the hood, black folks famous, but that was enough. And then Steve Harvey showed, and I did the Bud Light commercials because I'm from St. Louis, and I had a contact with them. I did the Bud Light commercial. We won the Super Bowl. Then Barbershop, and it just kept rolling from there. We just kind of kept it popping. And Kings of Comedy, of course,
Right.
that was big. So
A lot of
that was
comedians
it.
give you a lot of props too for like giving them a break. Like Duvall bigs you up all the time.
Yeah, man. That was one of my things, and that very early on, I used to love I used to love giving comics breaks. Mainly because if you good, like anybody that's really good, funny, like Duvall and JJ and my guy Malik S, these guys that they really funny. I used to put them on in front of me because that make you have to work.
Right.
And I remember because I remember that was like my goal when I first started. Like, you know, if somebody was like out there killing it, I used to try to go on stage and murder, you know. And so when somebody did it to me the first time, you know, a guy like went on stage and the crowd was going crazy, and I was sitting backstage like, what's going on? You got to get up there and go to work. And I was like, that's just the way I'm gonna try to do comedy from here on out. Like, you know, so I would always see the new next guys and put them on and try to put them on the show. So a lot of these guys, you know, Cat, I'm putting Cat on shows before, Lil Rel, you know, Rodney Perry, Gary On. I don't know, did I do Gary On? I don't know, but I definitely love guys like that'll put them on. A lot of the, you know, doing shows with some more and Monique back in the day, like that was it.
It is interesting with comedians though, because I don't see how a comedian can hate on another comedian when they realize how hard it is to even get to that level.
Man, you know, I mean, because, you know, again, man, you got to walk out there. It's a very, what I say, the pugilistic sport, man. You walking out there, it's you and the audience, and it's like from anywhere from 300 to thousands of people with all these opinions, everything that they had going on in their day, you and the microphone. With comedy, you don't get to, you know, like if you a singer, I remember we used to go to a Bobby Brown concert, and he'll just be like, sing! You know, like, yeah, you do it. You be like, yeah, you can't do that with comedy. You can't like just, you know, so you got to be able to keep them and hold them reins. And so anybody that can do it on a large level, you just got to appreciate that. Even if you don't think they funny or not, you just got to appreciate that they got the skill set to go out there and deliver, draw audience, draw fan base, and then, you know, give them an hour, give them 45 minutes, whatever that is. That's what's dope about being able to go and do that as a skill set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when comics first get on and they do that 5 minutes on stage, that seemed like a long time to have 5 minutes when you first started a material.
Oh, when they tell you got to do 30 minutes and and it's your first couple of times, they like, yo, can you do 30 minutes?
You be like,
yeah. You be up there, voice quivering all on the inside. You just making up stuff, and then one joke go bad. That's when you see them pull it out. What's up, all the black ladies in here? What's up, man?
Ladies,
give it up for my
noise.
sisters, man. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful.
Because, you know, back then when you first started, you didn't have to worry about people like maybe it going viral. Like we saw, was it Richard Pryor's son? He did his stand-up, and it didn't go over too well.
Yes.
And that's a lot of pressure when that happens and everyone sees it. But at least you had the room to grow. I think it's harder now for people to grow into being a great comic because it is going to be a period of time when you're not that great.
Right, and and your material gets out so fast. I mean, the ability now for people to like just, you know, have your phones and you just writing a joke, and if you write something dope, you be like, I want to milk this, you know, like for a while, but it's like out there now, and you know, people pass it around. So I was like that. Like we still don't like. We ask people not to tape at our shows, but like last night, I hadn't seen Kev's show, but he have a real it's
like
a real
you'll
rules.
get kicked out if you try to.
Yeah,
tape.
like it's grown rules. Like they walk you up out of there. I was like,
Envy got walked out.
And
of
then
there.
I know in Chappelle got the pockets. I don't know if they do that anymore.
Yeah, they do.
But
You got to
to
put it in a little bag, and it's locked
like
until they have to open it for you.
Chappelle and Rock do that.
Yeah. So I mean, but it got to the point because one, you know, also the kind of political correctness of everything is you can also say something while you writing a joke that ain't quite right yet.
Right.
And you take that out of context, and next thing you know, you're in the middle of a controversy over just saying, you know, bitches be stupid, you know.
And you be like, who you calling it?
You're like, wait a minute,
Cedric
you gotta
all
hear
women
the
are
rest
stupid
of it.
bitches.
I ain't say all bitches.
I feel like no great comedian. I didn't say all. I feel like no great comedian right now is not getting backlash. Like when they do their stand up, like people will go see Chris Rock and be like, I can't believe he said that. They'll go see Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
They'll go see everybody now gets backlash no matter what they say.
Yeah, you know, and like, cause I'm on tour with George and DL, and they constantly these guys, both of them. I mean, they just troublemakers.
DL on his radio show alone.
Just
love
constantly
DL.
just say
so
whatever, and he be serious and he be backed up with facts and statistics.
I'll be winning
He
to
got a
argue
lot of
with DL.
stats. Oh yeah, do you?
Yes.
Yeah, you would go heads up with DL. I think that would be awesome.
Is it hard being a comedian in this climate?
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. I try to I try to just keep it, I try to keep the vibe live. When I go on stage, I'm really about having a good time. I don't worry about saying stuff that's too controversial. I mean, I will, and yet at the same time, it's not the kind of thing I worry about because I think that I've earned, the kind of reputation to know that it's not malicious. Whatever I'm saying, it's not really coming malicious. It might be something that may be a little bit over the line, but I don't mean it like where, I would imagine. But, it's very
canceled?
sensitive. No, I never got canceled off anything for saying
Be
something
like, he's canceled. I can't believe he said that.
With CBS, so you get concerned because this is a super conservative network, and, a very, very, kind of red state oriented, so I don't know. You got to be, I think this probably, bitches be tripping joke. I'm gonna walk that back.
You gonna walk it back? Let's hear it right now. Let's hear it right now.
Tripping, I forgot the show only premieres Monday. Let me walk back. Bitches be tripping, and when I say that, I mean that
they literally tripped.
Yes, literally the
and
dogs.
Female
the
dogs.
Bitch, a female dog tripped over something.
Because they'll take that out of context. They'll cut like the testimony from Christine Ford, and then cut to you.
Right.
I wasn't talking about that.
Not in the Senate. Him and Cory Booker, I can't stand neither one of them.
Now, you still going to be on The Last OG?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
So that was great, too. And that was a really fun show to do, man. And a totally different style because it's, The Last OG is more like a film style. So he's shooting the movies. Tracy's great. Tiff's great.
I don't want him to get out the halfway house because I don't want you to not be on the show.
I know that's what everybody said,
Yeah,
but he
I
getting,
wanna be there forever.
but we just shot the season 2, and so, but Mullen's going, I'll end up being kind of like an uncle character to him, so I'll end up still being around, even though he'll be back there, or maybe he'll do another crime.
Let's keep our fingers crossed and hope he does.
Yeah, that's terrible, right? Wait, maybe Tracy do another crime and go back to jail. That's what's funny.
Did you feel like Tracy was hating on Tiff when they asked him that question?
I didn't, man. That was the thing about it because I understood it from the point that Tracy had made his own comeback, man. And so and Tiff was hot, and you get that kind of it girl factor or the it person factor, and every time you do a question, somebody asking you about them, you like, all right, that's cool, but this about me, and then I think they kind of did it in a clickbait kind of way though because. When you saw the rest of his whole answer, that's basically what he said.
He shouted her out, and then he was like, "There's a lot of people that contribute to the show."
So I ain't really like that. I mean, but it was it's moments when when somebody just hot all around you, and everybody just want to ask you about that person. You know what I mean? Like every time you show up, like how's Duval? Charlamagne.
That's
Duval,
my guy.
I mean, I
Number
know,
one song in the country.
He's
so tired of people asking him about Duval.
It's like you guys. You be like, yo, no, I do my own thing too. Like
Did you ever go through that? Like when y'all had the Kings of Comedy and all of that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, of course, Bernie blew up.
Yeah.
Like right, it was mainly out of the Kings at that time. Bernie became the hot dude, and so everything was about Bernie Mac. You want to, Bernie Mac this, Bernie Mac that. But it was fine, because. Me and Steve was already on the Steve Harvey show. And so Bernie's show was getting ready to be new in the movies he had coming out. So it just felt like, again, people act like they discovered him, and so it's that attitude of feeling like you discover something that we already know is hot that, I don't want to kind of keep explaining to you, but it was one of those times for sure where he was the it dude.
I'm shocked there's never been a sequel to the original Kings of Comedy.
I was just thinking about that because that's such a classic.
Man, that was one of them things too where where black people just can't work together, man. Sad. Because I don't know, man, but it definitely was like Bernie and Steve had a little beef for a minute, and then the dude that produced it with us. He just kind of pissed everybody off.
Stan Lathan, right?
No, Walter, not Stan.
Walter Lathan.
Yeah. So he kind of just pissed everybody off, because he just got bigger than the group. He was like one of them. He thought he was Berry Gordy to us. You know what I mean? So, and it was like we the comedians, and so it was just one of them things that nobody ever wanted to go back into the thing. And it was one time right before Bernie passed where we was really close to doing it again. And then once he passed, nobody even wanted to even consider it. Right. It was like a whole whole thing. So, but yeah, I definitely feel like we missed great opportunity because it could have been franchisable as a movie. And then when you think about like the blue collar guys who kind of, did our idea, but then they went on and they got a serious show. They had movies, they had products, and it's like, yo, we could have did that. The name still reigns to supreme now. So
number two grossest stand-up of all time?
Yeah. It was at that
Eddie
time,
Murphy?
Eddie Murphy. Then it was us. Now Kev's just went over that, but so
Now you still number two?
I think.
Yeah, I saw Kev posted the other day. I think y'all still number two.
I think his went over. I think it did. I think it just went over. So, but yeah. So it's still it was great to be a part of like that. Yeah, and at that time it was like so fresh. With nobody doing stuff together.
Then we had the Queens of Comedy.
Yeah,
Would you find it
was
disrespectful
big.
if they did that now with new comedians?
They did do that. Remember they had done a New Kings of Comedy?
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, I don't know how you could do that. Like I mean, now like everybody who would actually be like I would think like qualified as a king of comedy are already individually big. Like,
Yeah.
And then there's people that definitely like hot that you would say, all right, that could be a dope show. Be it like Blackson and Gary Owens, like these the it people. Tiff, like you say, you put them on one show. And then maybe you get a product like that. But I don't know if that would work anymore. Like everybody is so kind of individually different. I don't know if you feel like I would want to go see that as a movie.
How did you guys decide what order to go in and who's hosting and all of that?
You know what I'm saying? The first year, it was, because it's a hierarchy to comedy. Like, it's this thing where people kind of go like, all right, well, you that guy, So first year, Steve went last because he had the show. And I was on his show, so he was the main dude. And then after that, Steve wanted to host after the first year, and then I actually used to go last, but on the movie they just edited different because Bernie's material was more edgier than mine, so it fit better to go last. But on the actual tour, it was Steve, DL, Bernie, then me. Mm-hmm. That's how we did the show.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Can you still do the Matrix?
Oh, I mean, not as far back. Or the breakdancing. I can't even lock on them no more. Like that. I was like, I was big boy smooth on them, man. Yeah, I can't lock like that. I just rub down a CBD oil. Like that. I'm addicted to CBD oil right now.
That works?
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just got weed in it. So.
It worked, and you can feel it.
It's a good part of it. It's a good part of it without the THC that gets you high. It's the beneficial.
It's the beneficial. That's what I heard. That's
what I heard.
Everywhere.
I'll rock with it.
Yeah, I just put
What's
CBD
the benefits?
oil in. It takes out the aches and pains and removes it has a lot of antioxidants. I don't know exactly what it does.
All right,
I just like it.
The Neighborhood premieres Monday, October 1st on CBS. Cedric the Entertainer, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure.
Man. Thank y'all. I'll holla.
It's The Breakfast Club.